Hi, this is Kevin Fitzpatrick from the Cnesta Group, and thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say today. And I first need to apologize that my voice is more nasal than my normal Delaware County roots would support because I was at the Eagles game in Tampa. And the whole time going to the Eagles game in Tampa, Go Birds, I kept saying, we have to break the curse. We have to break the curse. And while it wasn't pretty, we did. And it brings to mind some thoughts on when we're facing adversity, when we're looking at career transition, when stuff just isn't going well. We often figure out why we get disenchanted, possibly even depressed. And the reality is, you got this. You can control it. You can make the difference. That is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. We don't rise to the level of expectations. It's because we fall to our level of preparation. Think about that. I think that is a quote from Robert Chu, who is the author of The Samurai and the Power of Seven. Fantastic book on self-development, reflection, and if you are looking to get to be your very best, I highly recommend it. Just finished it myself, and I'm processing still all the tidbits that I got out of that book that I think are going to be very, very useful moving forward. But in breaking the curse, and that curse can be anything, a lack of self-confidence, trying to correct something that happened in the past, focusing on an outcome that we absolutely must achieve. Well, the reality is we can't control the outcome. We can't correct the past. All we can do is decide who we want to be, how we want to show up, and what are we going to do about it? And how are we going to do it, and why it will make the difference moving forward. That's where we need to focus. We can't spend the time to look at in the mirror and say, why me? Why isn't this working out? Boy, this adversity is killing me. Or find some other, perhaps less healthy way to deal with it. The reality is we all have dramatic, phenomenal, and noteworthy strengths. Yes, we all have development needs. None of us are perfect. But at the end of the day, the reality is if there is adversity, if there is the curse and you need to break it, then you simply need to dig deep and be you. To look at the strength that brought you to where you are today. Forget about the past. Forget about the obstacles. Now, when I say forget about the past, learn from where you came from. And a way to do that is to, from our perspective, we typically look at 6 steps. And that is rather than focusing on what hasn't gone well, sit back and say, what has gone very well? What are my strengths? What is it that I bring moving forward? Then I look at it and say, what is it that I'd really like to do? What is it that I need to do? How do I prepare so that I don't fall? And then how can I put together a strong segue and create an action plan, not focused on an obstacle, but focused on delivering the very best of my capabilities and moving forward. Look then at the key strengths and figure out how can you leverage those strengths to make things happen. Then it's okay to say, what are the challenges before me? What is it that we need to develop or address in order to be successful at addressing those challenges? And in fact, turning those challenges into a strength. And at the end of the day, if that doesn't get to where you want to go, guess what? Do it again. With each answer, respond again with the same process in an iterative fashion. And you will get to the point where you can absolutely be your very best. It's not about being in the front of the crowd. It's not about shining all the time. Yes, it's about being very well prepared. And as someone who has a striving instinct of ready, fire, aim, it might be interesting to hear me say that. However, it is all about being prepared. There's an ancient Chinese saying that says, the strong man does not need to be seen because he's coming anyway. So think about that. Dig deep down, look at your strength. It's not about being in front. It's not about trying to figure out how you can be the very best. It is about giving your very best and let everything fall in line to deliver your expectations, to put your very best foot forward, and to address adversity and break any curse that you may think that is being held over your head at this time. Yes, much like the Eagles did down in Tampa Bay, wasn't pretty at all. But at the end of the day, I spent the second half pacing back and forth, throwing a few expletives out there until I realized it was hot as hell. And they were probably drained. And they were not focusing on the outcome. Yes, they wanted to win. It's all about winning. But the only way to get there, that regardless of the adversity that is in front of you, you put forth your very best. You prepare. You come when no one sees you coming, because you don't need to be seen, because you are at your best and can make the difference, not only for yourself, for your family, for your employer, and your team. Thanks.